Okay, so this next video is going to be a little bit of everything. I want to sort of do the first part of combat, and I want to talk about um, when you use for initiative when you don't use perception. That's going to be really important for the rogue. I also want to talk about some exploration activities and how they can help set up the combat. So uh, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a macro, and I'm going to type in exploration activities, and this is the macro that you want to have. So you throw that down here, and all this is going to do is it's going to mark your character on what they're doing in exploration. It's not going to change die rolls or anything, but it reminds you you will need to do some things. So the rogue is avoiding notice. That means they're sneaking around, trying to be stealthy. For this video, we'll assume that they succeed in their avoid notice. And the barbarian is scouting, and that's important because scouting gives a +1 to a +1 circumstance bonus to initiative rolls, right? So if you know they're scouting, this is a reminder to do a +1 circumstance bonus on your initiative roll. So let's say you sneak up on this dragon, all right? So let me start an encounter, and all right, so Amari is going to roll first. And remember, because he's scouting, he gets a +1 circumstance bonus. And so he's doing perception, but it's a +2 for incredible initiative. Well, you can't, circumstance bonuses don't stack. So the +1 is less than the +2, so he keeps the +2. So you don't do anything, he rolls initiative. All right. Now we'll go to Fumbus, and Fumbus is going to roll initiative and come down here, and it's perception. You can see here, he doesn't have the circumstance bonus. So before you click roll, you want to add the +1. So this is circumstance bonus for the scouting, right? Because it's for the whole party, so you get a +10 and roll. Right? Now, the rogue comes up and she's rolling stealth. And now the reason it's coming up stealth is because on her character sheet, I put it at stealth. If it was perception, right, and I now came down and rolled, it's going to be perception. So how do you change this to stealth before you roll? There's two ways you can do it. You can come to your extras, and here, instead of perception, hit stealth and then click the dice and it'll roll it. Or you can come here to your character sheet and change this from perception to stealth, right? And now you can click on this. Now, if you click on this, uh, it will, that's Fumbus. That's the wrong character. I shouldn't have done that. Let me go back to perception. Uh, if I go to the rogue and I change it to stealth here, I can click the dice here and roll it. If I don't want to do that, I close out here. I come here, it's still perception. If I come here, it'll be stealth, right? So there's a couple ways you can do it. Now, I'm going to add the +1 circumstance bonus because of the scouting, right? And so now roll perception, or roll initiative. Uh, that was not very good. All right. And now the monster is going to roll initiative, and yeah, much better. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the dragon was last, just for argument's sake. So I moved it down the order. So we're now going to start the encounter. All right, so we're starting the encounter, and Fumbus is going to go first. Now, you don't know what this is. And so what Fumbus is going to do is he's going to recall knowledge first to see if he knows what it is. And an easy way to do that is what you can do is here's your recall knowledge. You go to extras and you have recall knowledge. You can throw it down here so it's always down here, right? He's gonna target the dragon. He's gonna roll initiative recall knowledge check, and uh, I see that he passed, and I'm gonna say, well, this is a brine dragon, and I'm gonna change it so now you can see the name. You can see the name, right? And so when I do it, it comes up yelling brine dragon young. Well, you know it's a brine dragon young. The yelling is adjective, random adjective that gets added to the beginning of uh, the name. So if you had multiple monsters, they'd all have a different name. So you know which kobold you're talking about, which dragon or which whatever, right? So it's not really, it's not what it's doing. It's just saying that it's a way of changing the name, right? So uh, Fumbus recall knowledge, and I'm able to say, well, these brine dragons, they have an acid breath weapon, and they are immune to acid, paralyzing, and sleep, right? So you know what's going on. So now what Fumbus is going to do is he is going to do quick alchemy, and he's going to do a weapon, and he's going to do not acid, he's going to do alchemist fire, and he's going to craft and roll, right? So he did one for recall knowledge, he's drawing it, and then he is striking with it, and hopefully he hits, and he has alchemist goggles on, which is an item bonus. Let's see if he rolls. He misses. All right, that was his turn. So now we go to the next person, and we have the barbarian. And the barbarian, I'm going to take off the scouting because he's no longer scouting. It doesn't matter. But the barbarian is going to rage. And so you notice I have the barbarian icon down here. I'm going to click it, and are you sure you want to rage? Yes. What's going to do is it's going to put the rage in here until you put the effect on. You're not the Foundry's not going to know you're raging, right? So you have to put the effect on. And so when you do that, you put the effect on. It does your little thing. You also see down here you're at 120 of 120, and you now have 10 temporary hit points. So that is nice to be able to see that. And so he's raging. He's going to take a step up. He's going to swing at it. Now I've put his sword here, and so it's the first map, and he has a clumsy penalty of -1. He has a weapon proficiency of +1, and all these others. So he's going to roll, and he hits, and he's going to do damage. And now you can see here, just so you know, he had a +4 strength, +11 expert, +1 weapon proficiency, and -1 on the clumsy penalty. Uh, Now here he rolls, the base damage is 2d12. There's no other damage that he's doing. And so he's going to roll it. And 2d12 plus 16. And the 16 is 10 for rage, 4 for strength, and 2 for weapon specialization. So it'll tell you here how you get to that number. All right. And so damage. All right. So now it's the rogue's turn, and the rogue has a couple feats that are important in this scenario. The sneak attack, and this says that if they roll deception or stealth, or I'm sorry, if the enemy is off guard, they get an extra uh, uh, d6 of damage if they're using a precision weapon, right? And so that's important. So having someone off guard and being a rogue is really important. Surprise attack is that if you roll a deception or stealth for initiative, the creature's off guard to you the first round, even if they're not flanked, right? So that's important. So if you come here, oops, it's not turn yet. Let me go to the next person. All right. So if she moves to here, now if she attacks, I need to remember to make the dragon off guard. And you know the dragon's off guard because it will have an off guard icon. So let me just make it off guard real quick and click it. And now you see that, oops, I did the wrong. I made the rogue off guard. That's not right. Let me make the dragon off guard. All right, and so now here you see it has the icon, and if you can see that the has the icon off guard. You can always ask me, make sure they're off guard. Now, if you came down here, they'd be off guard because you're flanking. But if up here, I want to do it just to show you that that you get the extra damage. All right, so she's going to roll to attack uh, and strike and roll and hits, right? And so uh, here's the bonuses to have to get to 14, right? And so she's going to roll damage. And here you see that the base damage is 2d6 plus the sneak, and it's piercing because it's a rapier. Sneak attack is 2d6, right? Precision, right? And that's on. So, and you get a +4 for dexterity, right? So this shows you down here also 2d6 +4 plus 2d6. So this shows you that the sneak attack is on. So you roll for damage and you get 13 and it goes against the dragon, all right? And so now you can see it's barely hurt, but you're making some progress. And that's, I'm going to stop here for this one, but I want to sort this went over a lot of different things, rolling for initiative, different ways of doing it, you know, how to actually use this shortcut bar down here, and some of the feats for the rogue, which are important to understand. Thank you.